Let's get started with our first news. Topuria's team fires back at Islam Makhachev's manager for comments. As we reported yesterday, Islam Makhachev's manager Rizvan Magomedov wasn't interested in seeing Ilia Topuria fight for the title because of the criticism received by the MMA community about Islam defending his belt twice against the featherweight. Ilia's manager Mali Kawa fired back at the comments made by Islam's manager. You know, I don't really come on here that much anymore. I kind of like to state it myself, but when certain managers come out there and talk about a guy being too small, saying he shouldn't move up, or that he needs to fight someone else, let's make sure we get the facts straight. Ilia knocked out Volkanovski in his first opportunity to knock him out. The fight wasn't close. When your client fought Volkanovski, he struggled with him the first time, don't forget that. Then he beats him and knocks him out, and then he knocks out Max Holloway, who happens to be probably one of the greatest 45ers of all time. I'm not sure why he doesn't deserve a shot at 155, but I don't blame you. I wouldn't want my client to fight Ilia Topuria either. Islam Makhachev's coach seems more interested in the fight when speaking to Submission Radio. Javi Arendez said that Makhachev will never decline a fight that's being offered to him. He's not going to say no to Ilia if that's who they offer. That's who's on the table for Islam, and that's what Islam is going to do. That's just the way he is. He's a true warrior. We're the champion. We're number one for a reason, and we're not supposed to reject anyone they throw in front of us. What do you guys think about the situation? Should Ilia Topuria be given a title shot at 155? Let us know down in the comment section below. Moving on to the next news, Dricus du Plessis is called out for a flawed record. Dricus du Plessis has defended the middleweight title twice now. After winning the belt from Sean Strickland, he went on to make his first title defense against Israel Adesanya, and then erased any doubts left over from his fight with Sean Strickland at UFC 312. Although DDP's resume is impressive with names like Izzy, Robert Whittaker, and Sean Strickland on it, the way Brandon Allen sees things is that once you start digging into DDP's resume, it's actually pretty flimsy. Ahead of his fight with Anthony Hernandez this weekend in Seattle, Allen spoke with reporters during media day and took aim at DDP's resume. If you look at his resume on paper, man, this guy's a stud. But like, if you really look at it and watch the fights, he fights these guys that have such great names. But look at the timeline that he fights them. He's fighting them when they're not really motivated, or on their way out, or just father time getting them. For instance, you see Izzy on someone's resume, and you think of the Izzy at his top, and you're like, wow, he beat this guy. But you watch the fight and you're like, this ain't the Izzy that fought like Paulo Costa or anything like that. This ain't the same guy. Allen continued, I just think he gets them at the best times. The best names at the best time. The next time we see Dricus du Plessis in the octagon, the expectation is that he'll be fighting Khamzat Chimaev, who's coming off an impressive and dominant win against Robert Whittaker. The two already started taking shots at one another on social media. DDP seemed interested in a fight during his post-fight press conference, saying he wants to fight Khamzat next and then move up to fight Alex Pereira. Given that DDP is able to add Khamzat's name to his resume, Allen's case might lose some steam. Moving on to another news, Dana White explains why Ilia Topuria decided to vacate his featherweight title. Topuria has felt like he's done all that he can in that division, and feels like he's cemented his legacy, and his body cannot make the weight anymore. So Topuria will be moving up to 155 pounds, and will be vacating the featherweight title. The way this works is that as soon as the first punch is thrown in this fight, the title is vacated, and we will announce what Ilia's next fight will be when we get it done. But let's move on to another news. Conor McGregor roasts Belal Muhammad for footage. Belal Muhammad has shown that he's becoming more comfortable on the feet. Right before Dana White's big announcement on Wednesday that he would be defending his title against Jack Della Maddalena in May, Muhammad posted some training footage on his Instagram story, which drew the attention of Conor McGregor. In response to the footage, Conor McGregor was quick to weigh in with a tweet that has since been deleted. In it, he roasted the champ, writing, "The UFC welterweight champion, ha ha ha, holy good lord, Woldus abysmal." In the past, these two have gone at it on more than one occasion, with McGregor joking about Muhammad pulling out of UFC 310, and Muhammad calling McGregor pathetic while threatening to kick his ass the next time they meet. While the date for Muhammad's return has now been set, there's no telling when or if McGregor will ever return to the octagon, but I think they just underestimate my hands and my striking, and I just went against the best striker in the UFC, Leon Edwards, so-called. I train with the best strikers in the UFC, and Ignacio Bahamondes. I train with Yair Rodriguez. Both these guys, you've seen them spar. You guys know they're on a different level. So when I have a guy that's basic, like Jack, who's just boxing, right? He has really good hands, he's got good power, but he breaks a lot of these guys down because he hasn't fought anybody like me. His biggest weakness is his experience. You're never gonna win when you haven't fought a pressure fighter like me. I've had the pressure of all that on me. I fought Gilbert Burns for a #1 contender spot. I fought undefeated Sean Brady. I fought Leon Edwards in Manchester. I've had the pressure of all that on me. He hasn't fought anyone like that yet, and he hasn't had that pressure fight yet. So for me, I think I'm gonna go in there and walk through him like I thought I was going to do with everybody else, and I've done it with everybody else. Moving on, we have news about Israel Adesanya moving past old rivalries and embracing personal growth. In recent months, he's mended relationships with two of his biggest rivals, Alex Pereira and Robert Whittaker, proving that sportsmanship is his priority. However, one comment from the past continues to spark discussion. It's the infamous guy in the bar remark about Pereira. For those unfamiliar, Adesanya once said that Pereira would just be a guy sitting in a bar saying, "Oh, I beat this guy twice in kickboxing," while Adesanya himself would be remembered among UFC legends. This was in reference to a video of Pereira knocking him out in kickboxing going viral. At the end of the day, no one knows who the hell he is, and he's going to be that guy in a pub talking some shit about, "I beat that guy one time." Pereira wasn't an active fighter back then, while Adesanya was the middleweight champion in the UFC. Adesanya's remarks lit a fire under Pereira, who then joined the UFC within months of it and then defeated Izzy to end his title reign. So when a fan asked Adesanya during a Q&A session if he regretted making that remark, Izzy said that he's glad that he did it because it motivated Pereira to become the UFC champion. "Do you regret calling Alex Pereira that guy in a bar?" the fan asked. Adesanya responded, "No, I don't regret it because I was right, and also I don't regret it because it motivated him. I love this story. It's just the best. He's actually at a bar drinking, and it's like, boom, he decides to become, an MMA fighter. Well, he was already an MMA fighter, but decides to take it seriously and get to the UFC and fight me. He chased me, but again, like I said, he chased me. I didn't do that, but I don't regret it. I'm glad I did it because it motivated him, and look what we've created. I created a monster." Moving on to another big story in the world of MMA, we've got a potential showdown between Dustin Poirier and Ilia Topuria. Recently, Dustin Poirier posted a photo of himself in the gym, sparking rumors and speculation that he might be eyeing a fight with Topuria next. The timing of the post couldn't be more interesting, just after news broke that Ilia Topuria decided to vacate his featherweight title and make the move up to lightweight. This shift has fans buzzing, and many are now wondering if a fight with Poirier could be on the horizon. To add fuel to the fire, Poirier reposted his gym photo on X with a simple but powerful message: "Give us the dog fight." For those who might be unfamiliar, Poirier's reference to a dog fight is a nod to his tenacious and gritty fighting style. It didn't take long for fans to remember a recent interview where Topuria had spoken highly of Poirier, calling him a dog in the best possible way. On the Full Send podcast, Topuria said, "Imagine if I fought between me and I love that dog Dustin Poirier. He's a fighter, you know what I mean? You know that he goes in and he fights till he dies. You're gonna have that guy in front of you fighting and trying to take your head off. That's a very exciting fight for me, and I think for the fans." Now, with both fighters on the rise in the lightweight division, fans are eagerly anticipating the possibility of this epic matchup. So if Dustin Poirier is indeed Ilia's first fight at lightweight, who do you think would come out on top? This is a fight that could shake up the lightweight rankings, and we want to hear your thoughts. Post your opinions in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. And that's gonna wrap it up for this segment. Moving on to another news, Moses the Jeweler paid a hefty price for betting against Alex Pereira in his first fight with Israel Adesanya. Not only did he lose money as Pereira emerged victorious, but the UFC light heavyweight champion kicked him in the leg after finding out that Moses had put $4,000 on Israel Adesanya. Moses revealed this in an interview saying, "Want me to tell you a secret? Maybe he's gonna get a little mad at me, but his first fight, I had big money. How much did I bet? I had a lot of money, maybe $40,000. Laughter. Wow. Pereira also bought a $16,000 Rolex from the jeweler after winning the fight. Moses continued, "What's up, my brother? I got to give you the box and the papers. This situation just shows how high the stakes are in the fight game, where big bets and personal investments can result in some wild and unexpected moments. It's been an exciting time for the sport of MMA, with high-profile fighters making big moves, rivalries heating up, and fans eagerly watching to see who's going to come out on top. As always, we'll be keeping an eye on all the major developments and bringing you the latest updates. Stay tuned for more news, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think will come out on top in the Poirier versus Topuria fight? Is Moses going to be the one to face the consequences for his bet against Pereira? And what's next for the fighters we've talked about today? The action continues to unfold, and we're here to cover it all. Thanks for tuning in.